Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 2052. Be prepared to be inspired.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hello, inspiring automotive enthusiasts, and welcome to Cars Yeah. Today I'm in Spanaway, Washington, just a little south of Gig Harbor here with a very special friend and returning guest by the name of Krissy Wells. Krissy, welcome back to Cars Yeah. Do you have any gear? And are you ready to release the clutch?
Hi, Mark. Yep, I'm ready to go.
All right, we'll have some fun. Now, I was just thinking in our little pre-show chat here, you were a guest back in 2019 of July, guest number 1331. Now you're guest number 2025. I've talked to a lot of people between your last visit here and your visit today. You know, one thing I don't think I asked you when you were on the show before, and I've been asking guests this for a little while. Before I give you an introduction and we talk about your new venture and what you're up to today, what's one little thing that people don't know about you, Krissy?
Well, I grew up singing the national anthem out at racetracks.
Really? Well, I didn't know that. No kidding. So if I asked you to sing that today, will you do that for me?
I totally would. I just, might need to warm up the voice a little.
Yeah. That's a hard song to sing, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. Yeah. When I first started, I actually would hide in the announcer booth out at Spanaway Speedway. My parents raced stock cars, and I would hide and I would make the announcer leave. But after some time, I got real comfortable, and then my mom would bring me out in her race car, and I would sing in the middle of the track. So, yeah.
Well, you're a lady of many talents, and I already knew that, but I'll just add another one to your resume here. That's impressive. I sang in church choir when I was young, and then I went through puberty and everything went to hell in a handbag. And basically the choir guy said, Mark, maybe this isn't right for you. And they said, I know you play the guitar. Why don't you come and you can play the guitar while the rest of the choir sings, but please don't sing anymore. So
yeah.
That was the end of my singing career. Wow. Very, very cool. Well, that's fun. Well, let me give you a proper introduction and we will dive into the new world you're involved with today. Krissy Wells is the Seattle Events and Community Director for Avance, a membership program for diehard gearheads that provide their members with exclusive access to private events, discounts with premium partners, and access to a spectacular, and it is spectacular, community of like-minded enthusiasts. Krissy is a past guest here on Cars Yeah, as I mentioned. And that was back when she was a membership development director at LeMay, America's Car Museum, which is just down the road from me. She grew up in the Pacific Northwest around classic cars, race cars, go-karts, and motorcycles. In fact, instead of attending her high school prom, she went go-kart racing. My kind of gal. Today, she gets to create opportunities for people to have fun with their cars, from track days to tech sessions. Avance members are always having fun and meeting cool people along the way. And Krissy's one that makes that happen. And if any of you know Krissy, she has that perpetual wonderful smile on her face. She's in her perfect role. We'll be back in just a minute. But first, a word from our sponsors. So give them a little love, and we'll be right back as we think about the national anthem. We'll be right back. I love Covercraft's new 5-layer all-climate cover. It was developed and engineered for anything Mother Nature can throw our way. It's very soft, breathable, and easy to store and pampers your paint and interior surfaces, providing maximum UV, rain, dust, and snow protection. Add their gust guards for windy conditions for extra protection. Their 5-layer all-climate cover is custom-tailored with Covercraft's attention to detail, form and fit with a quality and attention that's been their standard since 1965. Covercraft protects cars, trucks, motorcycles, RVs, trailers, and watercraft too. Every one of my vehicles is protected by a Covercraft cover. And I have a deal for you. Use the code YEAH21 at covercraft.com and you'll get 10% off your Covercraft order plus free shipping. That's right, 10% off and free shipping. Just type in the word YEAH, Y-E-A-H, 21 at checkout, YEAH21 at covercraft.com. Covercraft, protecting the things that move you. Most people don't think about their collector car insurance until their annual premium becomes due. Well, why wait and see if there are better options for your beloved rides? I didn't. Did you know if you change carriers before your policy runs out, your insurance company has to refund you the unearned portion of your policy premium? I did my homework, I shopped around, and I found American Collectors Insurance. And that's who protects my Porsche Turbo. That's right, the one I call my Orange Crush. They've been protecting collector vehicles since 1976. I encourage you to call my friends at American Collectors Insurance. Ask them about their agreed value policy. And if your collector vehicle is on your regular auto policy, you will be shocked at the savings, not to mention the assurance, should something bad happen to your ride, that you'll get what your vehicle is actually worth. Give them a call today for a quote at 866-ACI-YEAH. That's 866-224-9324. Tell them you're a friend of Mark Green at Cars Yeah! American Collectors Insurance. Classic car insurance designed by collectors for collectors. Automotive enthusiasts just like you and me. That's American Collectors Insurance. Give them a call today. So, Krissy, this new venture of yours is very exciting. And I've had Adam Kramer, who started Avance, which is a really cool organization. And back when he started this, I thought, what is this guy up to? What is he doing? How is this all going to work? And now you guys have your own podcast with two characters that I was on their podcast, Rain City podcast, and now they're part of the Avance team. I mean, this Avance thing is really blowing up. So could you explain to our listeners, what is Avance? What is it all about? And what drew you into being a part of that organization?
Yeah, well, I mean, you nailed it in our first part of the call. I kind of thought the same thing when I met Adam several years ago. I thought, gosh, what is this? And what do I need to do better at the museum to compete with this?
Yeah.
Right. You know, Avance is a membership program for just how you said it, diehard gearheads, automotive enthusiasts, right? And it's exciting. I get to, plan all of the events and organize the programs, and I handle partner relations, and behind the scenes, I'm, building new member packets daily and introducing new members on Facebook and building out our calendar of fun and interesting events. There's a lot going on, so much more than what people know or realize. Yeah, now the podcast has added a whole nother element, and the magazine is on fire, and we're just rocking and rolling.
Well, you really are. And we mentioned the podcast, Nicholas and Dan, who had Rain City Supercars podcast. And they were nice enough to invite me to be a guest on their show. And they were doing an awesome job. And then all of a sudden, they're the Avance podcasters, which is really cool for them to team up with you guys and be a part of that thing. I love what they're doing. They're both characters for sure. Especially Nick, right? Nick, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the troublemaker in the group. But I always say Dan's the mature adult and Nick's the kid. But I say that in all kindness because I love those guys. But you also produce a beautiful magazine that I'm a member and I get in the mail, and it's just spectacular. So talk a little bit about that element, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the many events you guys are involved in. But the magazine is really cool. And am I correct to say, can anybody subscribe to the magazine, or do you have to join to be a part of it?
The magazine is something else, that's for sure. You can subscribe to just get the magazine sent to you. And we have quite a few members that live in other states that, our market's not there. So it just makes more sense for them to start with the magazine. Mm-hmm. There's a lot involved behind the magazine that I'm not necessarily a part of. Carl, as you know, Carl Noakes, he's our editor-in-chief, and I see some, snippets here and there, or he'll reach out and say, Krissy, do you know so-and-so? Can you get me introduced or whatever? But there's, an amazing team of photographers that we work with exclusively for the magazine, and the many amazing writers that contribute. Tina Chow and Michelle Graff are a couple of my two favorite ladies in our community, and they've both recently wrote stories in the latest issue So there's a lot of moving parts to that. And it's really fun that we get to share that with the community.
Oh, yeah, I love it. For you listeners that may have missed it, Carl Noakes has been a guest on the show twice now, and he just retired from Microsoft and was looking for something to do. He's become a really wonderful photographer. And so, of course, Adam is scooping up all the great people here. I see what he's up to. He's just going around and hiring all the all-stars. So that's very cool. But Carl returned a couple weeks ago to talk about his new role there, and he's just returned from some trips, some photography trips. I've got links on his website, not only to Avance, but also to his personal photographic website. He's just, man, I love what he's doing. He's a great guy. And I met Carl through the Redmond Town Center, Exotics at Redmond Town Center, which Nick was involved with, and you guys are there. In fact, last time I was there, you gave me you were still at LeMay, you gave me a couple passes to LeMay, which I shared with some people. So it's just a fun community up here. So let's talk about some of the Avance events that you guys get involved with, because what my interpretation of Avance is all about bringing cool car people together to have fun, right?
Yep, that's exactly it. And that's, that to answer the first part of your question, that's what drew me into Avant. And that I'm so passionate about bringing people together to celebrate their passion about cars. So we do that through all these fun events and programs and the magazine and the podcast and everything in between. Right now, we've had tech sessions. I just, kicked off a ladies series of events in January, and we've had about 5 or 6 events between January and now that have just exploded and just have been really fun to see grow. Mm-hmm. And right now I'm highly focused on our annual event that we launched last year at Chateau Ste. Michelle called Classics on the Green.
Yes.
Everyone should save the date for June 4th because it's an amazing afternoon with food, wine, music, and then of course all of the rare, beautiful cars on the green inside the amphitheater there. A lot behind the scenes happening as we are curating that display and, then all the fine details, right? So that's what my main focus is right now. And then on the side, I'm, making sure that tech sessions are continually happening and magazine launch parties are still happening and new events are happening. So
you're juggling a lot of balls.
Yeah. You should see the sticky notes on my desk right now.
I can only imagine. For you listeners around the country that are away from the Northwest, I'll ask you this, Krissy. When you look ahead to the future, I know Adam, he's a very get out there, go get him kind of guy. Is Avance looking to expand nationwide? Is that the big goal?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So right now we're looking to find the perfect fit so that we can launch Scottsdale. And then we're looking at Southern California area and down the road, Austin, Texas. So yeah, many more to come. And, since I've started, Adam's been moving quickly. He's, once he's got a vision and goals are set, he goes. And that's what I really like about him. He gets the job done.
Yeah, this is very fun stuff. Now, I saw the other day that you guys got a new VW Atlas, which is pretty cool. And it sounds like you had a great experience with the dealership that you got this car from. I wanted to give them a little shout out.
Yes, Auburn Volkswagen, they are great partners of ours, and we work together to make something happen. I think I had ran into Daniel Gresham, the GM there, at an event, and he saw me, lugging around the 10 by 20 tent and all the magazines and boxes of donuts and stickers and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, please help me. And, we said it jokingly, but didn't know that, we'd be able to make something happen. So they're just really great people over there. And we have a lot of dealers that are wonderful partners. And so, yeah, shout out to them for helping us and me and helping our members.
I have to ask, since you just had this car for about a week, how do you like the new Atlas?
Oh, I love it. It's amazing. It's fully loaded too. It has all the bells and whistles, and my favorite feature is the heated steering wheel.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Once you have a heated seat and a heated steering wheel, you never can go back, especially if you live up here in the Northwest where we do get a little cool weather, right?
Yeah, so that will be nice for those early morning cars and coffee events where I'm just like freezing and need to warm up. So
yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. So I always like to ask my guests about people that are inspiring in their world, influencers or successful people that have helped you move into your life and your career. Being around cars, you're in the perfect seat because you love cars, and you're the perfect person to be out there as a face for Avance because you've just got that. I always say, Krissy has the perpetual smile. I just don't think I've ever seen you not smile. You're just always out there and so, I know this might be a weird word, but bubbly. I mean, you're just an exciting person to be around. You're so happy all the time. I need to drink some of that elixir that you're drinking. Has there been somebody in your life that's been your mentor that you've been influenced by that has helped you?
Yes, there's been many, but I'd like to focus on someone that helped me realize I have a voice, and they helped me break down a wall that I was fighting for years. As you know, being a woman working in a man's world, I threw up quotation marks. If you're working in this kind of environment, you need your people. You need a strong, amazing, woman in your life to remind you how powerful you can be or that you are. This person I'm referencing to is the wonderful Cindy Sisson. Cindy is, currently with Women Shifting Gears. And I met Cindy a long time ago at a fundraising event in Scottsdale, and we got to share some fun stories together. And I just remember leaving that night that she would be a friend for life. And to this day, she is. She always reaches out and checks on me. And, I'm, of course, a part of her monthly virtual interviews with Women Shifting Gears. And it's fun to know that you have that person that you can look up to and lean on when you need them. I'm proud of her, and she's proud of me. And, that's all you need. So, yeah, my person is Cindy. She probably doesn't know that.
Well, she's been a guest here she's been a guest here on Cars Yeah. Having somebody in your life that can make you aware of what you can be when maybe you're not really sure what you can be is incredibly valuable. My wife had an instructor that opened up her world, which said, you're really good at mathematics. You could be an engineer. And she went, what? Me? And that's what she ended up doing, studying mathematics and engineering, became an engineer, got a degree in it. And I don't think she would have ever seen that herself because being a woman, well, math is a guy's thing. You go do this. You shouldn't be doing that. And there was a different time than it is now. It's more open. There's more STEM stuff going on with women. And I've tried to promote women as much as I can here on Cars Yeah. I've had close to, I think, 400 plus women on the show in all walks of the automotive sector. So I'm glad to see that it's changing and evolving and getting better and stronger. And of course, with people like you, people like you in the world, why not? So it definitely should, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, we'll take a short break and we come back. I want to talk a little bit about maybe a challenge because this is something that defines us, but better yet, it teaches us things. So keep that thought in mind and we will be right back. You listeners know that I'm a huge car care fanatic, and my friends at AutoGeek created their Wolfgang Deep Gloss Paint Sealant for perfectionists like you and me. Wolfgang Deep Gloss Paint Sealant is designed to provide long-lasting protection and a glossy, slick finish that, well, it's unmatched. The use of polymer technology ensures your paint is protected from environmental contaminants, those damaging UV rays, and lasts up to 3 months long. By providing the glossy look of carnauba wax with the longevity of a synthetic formula, Wolfgang Deep Gloss Paint Sealant is the best of both worlds. Go to autogeek.net to get yours for the best product selection on the internet today, along with their skilled technical support. Autogeek.net is where I go for all my detailing needs. That's autogeek.net. 20, 50, or 100 years from now, will there be a workforce to care for the collector vehicles we love? With auto shop programs disappearing across the country, it's a question we enthusiasts have to ask. That's why I support the RPM Foundation, which exists to ensure that the critical skills necessary to preserve and restore these vehicles aren't lost to time. One of the many ways RPM, which is short for Restoration, Preservation, and Mentorship, is accomplishing this goal is through workforce development initiatives. The RPM Apprenticeship Program enables the next generation of artisans to earn a living while they learn the craft of restoring and preserving these vehicles directly from industry professionals. The Endangered Skills Program documents the process of masters training future craftspeople on a variety of critical skills in danger of being lost forever. For more information on how the RPM Foundation is driving the future of the collector vehicle skills trade, visit RPM Foundation today. They're one of the charities of choice here on Cars Yeah. So, Krissy, let's talk about this big challenge, big obstacle, maybe even some time where you just kind of fell on your face and had to get up and dust yourself off. It's more, though, about the learning lesson. So what was that lesson like for you?
Yeah, this was a tough one. One that kind of was a little clear was, the challenge of keeping the lights on in the museum during a time of uncertainty.
Oh, gosh.
And I was working alone mostly while the rest of the staff were furloughed. I learned, that I was already doing too much at the time, but I would say we took that time to slow down, with the current time. And it's like, okay, well, when I consolidated all of the priorities, at the end of the day, it just came down to member and partner relations, being the key, right? And everything else was paused. So I worked daily connecting with members and board members and partners in the community to just ensure that, when we were ready to reopen, they would be there for us, right? Because it was such a scary time. And that was a day-to-day fear, too, of, am I going to lose my job today?
Right.
Or everything the museum has built. What is the community going to think about this? Like, literally I was working from home and just found myself in this hole of like, what are we going to do? But, I found that attending, virtual workshops and continued leadership training, really helped me stay ground. But it was a very scary time.
Well, we're still seeing the residual effects in a big way from the pandemic. It's just trickled down through everything. I've heard this repeatedly from every single guest I've had on the show. During the pandemic's still kind of there. We get that, but it's lightening up a bit. But one thing that I keep hearing from people, and I'd like your perspective on this, is that it enlightened many people to things that they maybe had not been enlightened to before.
Mm-hmm.
And so how did that experience, that scary experience, the museum couldn't be open, but you had to figure out somehow to keep doing things, keep adding value, not knowing every day if you're going to get that phone call going, sorry, we're kind of done. Mm-hmm. You got to go. How did that help enlighten you to see other ways through difficult situations?
Yeah, I had to treat every day like a new day. And I challenged myself, within to pick something new I was going to talk about the museum. So if I was reaching out to a partner, what was it going to be? Just to keep my energy lively and active. And I would say that taking time to pause for yourself, because, at the end of the day, we can all, especially when working from home, you can get into this zone where you're just like, this is all I do every day, all day, but taking that time to be like, no, I'm going to go for a walk and I'm not going to bring my phone with me because, it will start happening. Or I'm going to go take a drive or, you know what, I'm going to go to Target because I love Target.
Yeah, just get away for a few moments.
And load my cart up with everything that I want, right? So, I guess, in that time, lessons are just making sure that you take time to pause for yourself and be real and be realistic of what the outcome could be. Yeah,
I think it gave a lot of people pause to rethink their lives too. And maybe that's part of why there's such a problem with finding workers these days. I not a day goes by I don't talk to somebody with that challenge is where have all the work? I just interviewed a gentleman this morning. It's like, where have all the workers gone? We can't find enough workers, much less get the right raw materials to make the products and all of this. But it just really has altered. It shifted the world. It's not just this country, the whole world in many ways. So, and maybe that's a part of it. I just saw a friend of mine on Facebook post that he and his wife sold their house and bought a motorhome. And he can work from the road just like I can. I can work anywhere. Mm-hmm. I've even thought, that's interesting prospect. And then my wife looks at me and goes, I'm not selling the house and going on the road with you to podcast. That ain't happening, pal. So see you later. Bye. You can go do that, but I'm not going to be there. Yeah. Which I probably wouldn't work anyway. Two of us cramped in a little place. Probably wouldn't be a good idea. So it's really helped people in some positive ways reevaluate their lives and realize or think about what's more important, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I could have went a whole different angle on was like, oh no, all this downtime, we're going to reorganize everything in the office and we're going to do this and do that. And it's like, no, 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 no. Pause, breathe, reach out to the people that are most important in this. So yeah, and regardless of, I think working for a nonprofit or for profit, that's valuable information.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about a special vehicle in your life. We had this talk last time in your show, but maybe there's a different story for us today. A vehicle that's had some memories or created memories for you, or maybe it's this new Atlas that's going to create new experiences for you, but maybe take us on a little ride.
Well, when I was real little, I have a very fond memory of sitting next to my dad in his 1948 Chevrolet Fleetline. Mm. And in this memory, he was drag racing with me in the car. And I remember watching him shift. I literally was sitting right next to him, and I think the shifter was right there too. And I swear to this day that that's how I learned how to drive a manual transmission.
Was watching.
Watching and listening to the power. And yeah, just all of that.
Wow. Well, and that's a pretty 48 Fleetline. That is a pretty cool car.
It is.
Yeah, you listeners, go Google that car and you go, that's kind of a beast.
It is. And my dad, he had restored it several years ago. In fact, shout out to our friends at Park Place in Bellevue.
Oh, yeah.
But Lexi helped me get my dad's Fleetline from Puyallup area to Scottsdale because he'd recently purchased a home in Lake Havasu. So he really wanted to have it there. And I said, well, let me make some calls.
I know some people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. What a fun story. I think that's cool. So I'm going to crawl into your head and be a little bit of a car psychologist for you today. If you were reincarnated or manifest as a vehicle, this isn't what you want to be, Krissy. This is how you perceive the lady in the mirror, who you are as a person, your personality, your likes, your dislikes, your strengths, your weaknesses. What kind of vehicle will you be and why?
Oh, this was a tough one for me, but I feel like, everyone in the community knows me as a nice person. And maybe they've never seen my angry side. Yeah. Oh gosh. But yeah, so that's where I'm going with this is that,
okay.
I'd want to be a little mean from time to time. But I want to continue, bringing the smiles and all the niceness, right?
Yes.
So I think that I'd have to go with a Porsche 944.
Oh, okay. Porsche 944. Okay, 944. Why is that?
I just feel like they're nice in person, but there's a minute you can get behind the driver's seat and do something wild.
Okay. Yeah, they're kind of a tame touring car.
Yeah. And so, and I really realized what a 944 can do when we had an event over at Reese and Carissa Hayden's home this last month. And right before we got there, Reese was flying around his driveway, like rallying around his driveway in his 944. And I'm just like, I knew that car could really do cool things. That's cool.
I tell you, I have a friend who he lives here in the Pacific Northwest. He just actually bought a home in Florida too. So he's he just retired. He's going to be living in Florida part of the year when it's crummy and rainy here. And then when it gets hot and muggy there, he'll come back. But he's got two of those cars. He collects old Porsches. He's got two really nice ones. So maybe, there's a point in time where you're ready to get one of those and he's ready to let one go and I can connect you to.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Yeah. So, but there's lots of cars that I'd love to be. That's a hard question for a car girl to answer.
Well, again, that's why I asked to kind of take your personality into it. And the Porsche 944 is one of those interesting cars to me, being a Porsche guy, 911 guy. So when they came out right after the 924, which actually my mom had a friend who bought a new 924 back when they came out, and he loaned it to me, and that's what I drove to my senior prom.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So I thought it was kind of cool, to have a cool car like that and take my date to the prom in a Porsche. So, but the 944 was a much, much better car than the 924. And yeah, and then you get into the turbo version of that car, and there's some really nice versions. So I think I got to connect you with Bill.
I would definitely need to turbo version for
Yeah,
sure.
of course you would. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. So let's talk about a great book that you've read that you maybe learned some cool things from. My listeners know that I love to share books here, love to read books and learn books. And there's a place on the Cars Yeah website called Guest Recommended Books where there's over 2,000 books listed there. So what would you like to add to the library shelf here at Cars Yeah?
You know, to be truthfully honest, Mark, I'm not really a reader.
Uh-oh. What?
I know. I don't know. I have a hard time sitting in one place for a long time.
So let me ask you this. Are you a good listener?
I am a good listener.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about audiobooks?
Some audiobooks I could dive into. Then I worry that I'd get so into it that I would get nothing else done.
Well, but see, while you're driving around in that new Atlas, you can just link in and, listen to an audiobook during the drives and you're sitting in traffic.
Yeah, or catching up on your podcast.
Yeah,
there's all kinds of stuff to do.
Yeah.
But if I were to be biased, I'd say, pick up a recent issue of the Avance magazine, right?
Okay. All right. Well, here we're back to the marketing. You're a smart lady. I like, Adam should be smiling right now. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I've learned more about cars diving into that magazine than I ever have, ever.
Right. Well, yeah, I was going to say, here's the cool thing about Avance magazine, and the trend in many magazines these days is going to a larger format, quarterly type format. Now, remind me, how often does Avance magazine come out?
Once a quarter.
Once a quarter, yeah. So like 000, like Crankshaft, like Linkage, Magneto, these magazines that are becoming really the kind of magazine you would not throw in your recycling bin. You keep it on your shelf because you can refer back to it. So I was talking with Carl when he was on the show, and we were trying to come up with a word for this new trend in magazines that we could, we could trademark or something. Everybody would have to pay us a nickel to use it.
Yeah.
So you put your thinking caps on, listeners, as to what would be a word for these types of publications, because Avance is very much like that. But very cool. And I'll tell you something, Krissy. My wife is a devourer. Is there a word? Devourer. She devours books. Yeah, she consumes books. And here's a little trick for you that I've shared with a lot of people, and I've gotten a lot of emails about this. You can go to your local library, get a library card, and you can receive audiobooks to your device for free.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
My wife probably gets 2 books a week. And if they don't have one, you can request it and they'll go buy it. And so your tax dollars that pay for your local library you can get those books. And she has her earbuds in. I think it's because she don't want to listen to me, is the honest truth. But she has her earbuds in all the time. And when she goes for drives and she's in traffic, she goes, I don't care how much traffic there is. I'm just listening to a book. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Okay. I'm going to give it a for challenging me.
Okay. Yeah. And just go get library cards are free. You've already paid for all that through your taxes. So there's a little tip for the day. And with that new Atlas, I'm sure it's all dialed in and connected with the highest tech so that you can link that through your audio system. You can just listen to books and learn all sorts of fun stuff. So there you go. So I'm going to let you go on the ultimate drive today, Krissy. I'm going to open my big Cars Yeah checkbook, buy you any vehicle in the world. You can drive anywhere in the world, and you can be with anybody in the world or somebody out of this world that maybe has passed. So what's the ultimate drive look like for you?
Well, I would be with my mom, Karen. We would be in her 1964 Riviera.
Cool.
She would be driving because she never got a chance to drive it after it was restored.
Yeah. That would be
I don't know going or where we'd be, but I just imagine it being absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it wasn't too long ago you lost your mom, right?
Yeah, it was just a little over 3 years ago.
Yeah, that is, I know we're coming up on 5th year that I've lost my dad, and it's tough. There's even times today that I want to text him something or send him, and I go, I can't do that. Yeah, well, that would be wonderful.
I definitely have those moments.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that would be quite spectacular. And the Riviera, what a classic, cool car.
And it's a beautiful car. My dad still has it, so I'm just kind of waiting, for him to pass it down.
That would be pretty darn cool. Yeah, I had a guest on the show here on Cars Yeah that was part of the original team that designed that car when it came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Pretty
car
awesome.
almost didn't happen because it was so extreme and crazy that the GM folks there at Buick said, this is too nuts. We can't do this. And the way the car, they had to fit it on a chassis that was pre-existing. And because of that back end, it didn't really fit very well. It's amazing that car even happened. So I have a feeling you're going to be cruising around the Pacific Northwest in that car at a car show. Yeah, we'll see it Classics on the Green one day. I have a feeling.
I'm not sure it will hit the mark, but we'll see.
Oh, come on. I think so. Well, listen, Krissy, I'm really excited for what you're doing now. I love having guests back on the show that have evolved, have grown, and moved into new things, exciting things. I couldn't think of any better choice for Adam to make to put you in this role. So hats off to him. Nice job, Adam. You're welcome. But before I let you go, could you share maybe some words of inspiration, quote or mantra that has meaning for you?
Yeah, I love quotes. I live by them daily. And I shared this quote on my Instagram during my transition from the museum to Avant. But this quote is, everything you want is on the other side of fear. Don't be afraid of change.
So important. Absolutely. Yeah. And, I always say about fear, my dad taught me this when I was a kid. Fear is an acronym for false evidence assumed real.
Mm-hmm.
And we fear things that we don't know. We fear change. But that is where the good stuff happens, right?
It is, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, kudos to you for embracing that and on to your new adventure. How can people learn more and be a part of Avance?
Yeah. Well, so avance.com is our website. My email is very easy. It's Krissy@avance.com. That's Krissy with a K. And we've got a Facebook group that's very active. And of course, I'm on Facebook, so I'm very reachable there. All kinds of ways of reaching out to us.
Absolutely. I'll put all these links on Krissy's show notes page. I would encourage you to join Avance, be a part of this thing. Even if you're not in the Pacific Northwest, because they're coming your way. No doubt they'll be in your world someday. And the magazine, again, if you're going to subscribe to a magazine, this is one of the short list ones that I subscribe to and get. It's really spectacular. They're doing an awesome job. And with our friend Carl, they're now at the helm, of the helm, the helm of the realm. He's doing a fantastic job. Another great decision that Adam's making. So he's really aligning himself with some wonderful people, which is how you become successful. Krissy, thanks for joining up today. Congratulations on the new toy you get to cruise around in. No doubt I'm going to see you soon as the weather warms up. Today's a beautiful day in the Pacific Northwest. Time to get out on the road. Oh, it's marvelous. Until you and I talk again, my friend, I'll see you down the road at an Avance event. How's that sound?
That sounds great, Mark. And thank you for all that you do in the community. You're awesome.
Oh, thanks. You make me blush. I've discovered Linkage. It's a new quarterly publication and website that covers the automotive market, driving, restoring, collecting, and discovering your passion for motor vehicles. Linkage is about experiences, opinions, and values. Linkage is an actual informed, reasoned opinion based on first-hand experiences. A talented Linkage team covers the automotive world, the people who share your passion and mine, smart, considered, rational, and experienced opinions, ones you can learn from and grow. That includes our passion that drives auctions and the collector car market. So come with me and join us on this journey. And be sure to use the code CARSYEAH when you subscribe, and they'll give you $10 off. Boom! Linkage, geared for the automotive life. Subscribe today at linkagemag.com.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.